finally 0.97 is a factor counting energy losses like radiation or other losses. What has to be noticed about this formula is that it is not a thermodynamic formula, it is not a physical formula. That means for some special cases, the result can be above 1, especially for waste energy plants that have a really big district network taking a lot of energy from the plant, the result can be above 1. Though some things still have to be clarified, how to use this R1 formula properly. That's why there is a guidance that is being now prepared for the implementation of the R1 formula for municipal solid waste incinerators. The goal is to define the system boundaries. It means where the energy inside the formula, all the energies that enter the formula, where do we have to count them? Where do they enter the system? Where do they exit the system? On the system boundaries, actually the idea is to focus on the process of incineration process, excluding sorting facilities, organic treatment that might be done on the same site. This is only, the formula is only for the incineration process. The different energy flows, especially for EW that we saw here, the annual energy contained in the treated waste, it means it refers to the calorific heat value of the waste. How to calculate the heat value of the waste. There are some propositions in this guideline. And finally, on the energy flows, EP here in the heat, do we count the heat self-consumption of the waste-to-energy plant? That's a matter that has to be clarified. Then the qualification procedure and monitoring of compliance means how do we measure the energy efficiency and on which period of time do we measure this energy efficiency. This is quite a big issue. So now, especially for the French regulation, it started in 2009 with the general tax on polluting activities that was actually not really created, but it was applied to waste-to-energy plants. Especially for waste-to-energy plants, this tax is modulated according to 3 criteria. First, the EMAS or ISO 14000, it's an Environmental Management Assessment System certification, or ISO 14000 certification. Another criteria is the NOx emission. If the waste-to-energy plant has NOx emission below 80 milligrams per normal cubic meter. And then a last one is the energy efficiency. With a formula, if the result is above 0.6 for existing plants, or if the result is above 0.65 for new plants, you can get this criteria. With another formula we will see. What we have to notice here is first that the two levels here are the same than for the European directive. Then for the tax, plants, waste-to-energy plants to have the maximum reduction of tax only need 2 of those 3 criteria. It means, as far as now, plants who already are ISO 14000 and have low NOx emission, they just don't need to calculate energy efficiency and they have the maximum tax reduction. But soon, in France, in the next years, certainly a lot and certainly all the waste-to-energy plants will get the ISO 14000 certification. So certainly in new evolution of the regulation, these criteria might be suppressed. So the formula used in France now is this one. It's almost the same as the R1 formula, but still different. PE means performance énergétique in France for the energy efficiency. We can see that we still multiply electricity produced by 2.6 and electricity imported as well by 2.6. The heat produced, we multiply it by 1.1, like the R1 formula exactly. What is different here is that for the heat produced, we count the heat produced for commercial use and for the self-consumption of the waste-to-energy plants. There is a list in the regulation, we will see just next, of the different self-consumption that can be counted. Then, so the electricity imported, annual heat imported is often equal to 0. Annual energy from fuels other than waste. And 2.3 takes into account a standard heat value for municipal solid waste in France with a value of 2,044 kilocalories per kilograms. This is also different because for all waste energy plants in France, the heat value is considered to be the same, and that certainly isn't true. And we divide also by the annual quantity of waste that is treated in the waste energy plant. Here is the list of the heat self-consumption that the regulation allow to count. This is first the preheat of combustion air, the heating of the steam water cycle, heating of feed water, the flue gas reheat, especially for nitrogen oxide catalytic reduction, when we need to reheat the flue gas, the heating of buildings, offices, or industrial equipment that can be inside the waste-to-energy plant or even outside. The steam used for steam pump or steam compressor, it's only very, very big waste-energy plants that often have a steam pump. Evaporating effluents and antifreezing for air-cooled condenser. Another one I didn't mention here is the sewage sludge drying, only if those sludge are to be used for organic recovery. There are three self-consumption that are not listed and that we are not allowed to count in the formula. It's the steam consumption for soot blower inside the boiler, for the steam ejectors, and then for the steam used for chemical injection if you use steam to vaporize urea for nitrogen oxide reduction. So this was about the tax on general tax on polluting activities. Now there is a French ministerial decree of the 3rd of August 2010 that classifies waste to energy as recovery or as disposal. It is classified as recovery only if you are above 0.6 or 0.65 for new plants. You have to do the calculation of the energy efficiency each year with over the whole period of the year, and each parameter entering the formula, this one, each parameter has to be measured with instruments controlled yearly. If you have all those 3 points, the waste to energy plant is classified as recovery, else it will be classified as disposal. Inside this ministerial decree, the formula written is this one. It means it's the R1 formula. And then at the end, there is an adaptation to just say, well, we consider for as far as now that this equals to this, because we already use this formula for the tax calculation, so we still use it to determine the recovery or disposal. This is written like that, I think, because certainly in the next years we might swap to the R1 formula once the guideline for application, European guideline, will be completed. So it means soon we will just delete this formula and swap to the R1 formula.